A lot of salespeople feel like their CRM is slowing them down. In this video, I'm going to share the Pipedrive daily routine that I have refined over the last 11 years that has helped me to close more sales. And if you want your sales team to follow best practices, then there is nothing like a customized training session. Book a call using the link in the description to connect with us, and we can design a sales training package tailored just to you. I actually published a similar video almost 5 years ago, and it's helped almost 19,000 Pipedrive users. But since then, my team has grown, my process has changed, and thankfully, the COVID hair is gone, so it's time for an update. Now, I like to start my day in more of a reactive mode. By that, I basically mean I answer my email. Because I'm in New Zealand, a lot of the sales prospects I'm talking to are in the United States. In the morning, my inbox is often full with lots of sales-related emails. So here I am in my inbox, and in case you're interested, this application here is called MimeStream. This is great. If you work on a Mac and if you are a Gmail user like me, check out MimeStream. I cannot say enough good things about this app. I have a related video up here if you're interested. Now, here's a conversation that I've had from Elliot at Asana, and this is actually related to one of the deals that I'm working on. So when I receive an email, it's about an existing deal. My very first step is to open Pipedrive and bring up the deal in question. And I'm then going to make any necessary updates to the deal. So in this case, it could be changing custom fields here. Because this trial is now active, I'm going to set this custom field on the left. This is obviously specific to me. And I want to log the subscription end date as being in 1 week. If I'm pretty certain or I've got more confidence that the deal is going to close, I may choose to update my expected close date. So we'll change that date so it's more relevant. I might need to update the stage of the deal. And actually for this one as well, what I'm going to do is set an activity for myself due in 2 days. And I want to check in and see how the trial is going. So I'm setting my next action there. So essentially, I'm updating the deal with any new information I've received, I've set my next action, and I've kept the deal as up to date as possible. And the final thing I'll do is I will respond to that email, and because I have my Gmail account synced with Pipedrive, I can compose and send emails directly from the deal. And because the initial email here I sent from Pipedrive natively, it doesn't matter whether I reply here in my Gmail, I can reply here, or I can click reply in Pipedrive and reply here. Either option is fine because the conversation is synced with the deal. So my response, Elliot's response, they are all going to be connected. Quick side note, we're using Claude, which we've connected to our Gmail and Pipedrive via our own custom MCP, and we are getting pretty close to having Claude be able to receive and respond to an incoming email and make necessary updates directly in Pipedrive for us. So subscribe to our channel to stay tuned for when we have that available to roll out to our customers. Here's another type of email I often receive, which is from Pipedrive actually, telling me that Liam on my team has responded to one of my comments. So I can just click to view the comment, Pipedrive opens up the relevant deal, and we can continue the conversation in here. So I can say, yep, that's correct. So my team and I are often communicating in Pipedrive. We're confirming, what each of us is doing, how the project's going to work. We're answering questions, giving feedback. We keep all of our conversations linked to the deal. So whenever we need to, we can look back and see what have we talked about in relation to this particular opportunity. And finally, here's another common reactive type of thing I do in the morning. I get inquiries like this from the contact form on our website. So my next action here is again to open Pipedrive, and I can quickly create a deal from the quick add button up here and just go to create new deal, and I put all the information in. I've actually already done it for this one, and you can see what I've done is I've put the deal into the prospect stage. My next stage is to get them to book a meeting. So I've responded, I've asked them to book a call, but my next action is to follow up to make sure they book the call. And I've copied in some of the important notes, their inquiry details, what they're looking for help with, and my deal is set up and I'm ready to go. So that's the start of my day. Very reactive. Now, the key thing here is keep Pipedrive open on your computer. That way it's quickly accessible throughout the day. So when I'm responding to emails or if I receive a phone call, I can quickly pull it up, look at the deals, make my changes, make my updates, and I'm keeping it up to date in real time. Where we see a lot of salespeople get hung up is they're doing their work, they're responding to their emails, having their meetings, and then they kind of get to Pipedrive at the end of the day, and then they're like, ugh, got to update my CRM. It's much better to keep it open, keep it up to date in real time, and that way it's not a chore to update later on. Next, I switch to proactive mode. This is where I start doing my proactive sales follow-up. Now, to do that, I work from the activities page. And a best practice, if you've heard my videos before, I always say is you've got to have some kind of next activity scheduled on every single one of your deals. So like earlier, you saw me schedule an activity to follow up and get the person to book an introductory call. Because I'm setting those next activities, every day when I come to my activities, I can see what do I need to do today, who am I following up with? Now, a couple of ways that I've customized this page to work for me. Firstly, I've created a filter so I only see the activities that are incomplete. You can, if I remove that and I just had this on my name, I can see all of my activities I've completed for the day, including ones that I've already complete. Just to make this a little bit cleaner, I've created this incomplete filter. And the way this is set up is it shows me any activity that is still to do, where the assigned user is the current user, i.e. me, but my team can also use this filter as well, and if the activity due date is due today. So that way, it keeps the screen really clean. As I complete an activity, it disappears from view. Secondly, I also have an option set in here to view the deals in full screen. So what that means is when I click the deal subject here, so I've got the deal column turned on, you can customize your columns on the right-hand side, I click that deal, and the deal slides into view. I can still see my activities in the background, but the deal slides in, and then I can do my next activity. So in this case, I'm checking in. This is a customer who's in trial with a Pipedrive subscription, actually. And what I'm going to do is reply to the last email, and I'm just going to paste in a response that I've pre-prepared. I'm just going to check in with this person, make sure he's got going well with the trial, and I'm going to click send. That's it. I've sent my follow-up. I'm going to go back to my activity, mark that one as done because I've completed that action now, and I'm going to set my next activity, which in this case is, actually we've already got some activities sent here. We're going to be sending the agreement soon. So the next actions I'm happy with. I'll close that deal, and now I'm back to my activities list. And so I keep working through my activities as much as I can. I have a demo scheduled for later today, but right now I've got a couple of phone calls I can make, another email follow-up I need to do, and for each of these activities, as I complete them, I will set my next action to make sure I always have some kind of reminder of what I can do next to move the deal forwards. If you can master this habit, you will be in the top 5% of Pipedrive users, and I guarantee you'll close more deals because fewer opportunities will fall through the cracks. Okay, next let's talk about meetings, because introductory calls, demos, follow-up conversations, these meetings really do make up a huge part of the type of selling that we do. Now, I use Pipedrive to prepare for my meetings and to keep my notes, which are going to help me later. So for this demo call that I did earlier today, I have some prep notes in here. This is bullet points that the prospect sent me ahead of time as just, look, these are the questions or things that I want to cover on the call. And I do take some of my own notes on the call, even though we do get Zoom AI summaries now, which I'll show you in a sec. We add those to Pipedrive automatically. I like to write my own notes just as, what's standing out to me? What am I hearing that's important? I keep everything in there. Now, we use Zapier, which is connected to our Zoom account. So when we finish a meeting, Zoom generates an AI summary. We then use Zapier to automatically pull that summary into the deal. So we've got that easily to refer to as well. After the meeting, I will send a follow-up email, either by starting a new conversation here or responding to a conversation that's already in progress. And I'll use the Pipedrive templates that I've pre-written. If I'm, starting a new trial, I can use that template, make any tweaks or changes if I need to, and then click send. And as I've mentioned in previous videos, I recommend sending emails from Pipedrive first, even if I then respond later in my Gmail or my Outlook. By sending the first email from Pipedrive, that conversation is now synced with the deal. Now, a common theme of this video has been just keep putting information into Pipedrive. Write notes on your activities, put your meeting summaries in here, keep your emails synced with the deal. And the reason for that, yes, it's useful for me to look at and refer back to, but now with AI, what we're doing with Claude is we've created our own Pipedrive MCP, and we're using Claude to create quotes and proposals. And Claude has access to templates that we like to use. It can then read the notes on the deal, the emails, all the information that's on that deal, and it can write a really good proposal. It probably gets us like 80 to 90% of the way there. We can then go in, make any tweaks and edits that we like before sending it off. It is saving us a huge amount of time. But for Claude to do a good job, it has to have context. That's why we are so diligent on keeping these deals up to date. Next, and this is not really a daily habit, it's more of a weekly habit that we follow, myself and Andrew, our sales manager, is we review our pipeline. We want to keep the pipeline really clean and up to date. Number one, we check that the deals that ourselves and our team are working on have activities that are up to date. We're making sure that we don't have too many of these red overdues. So this 7-week overdue activity that John has, not good. We need to follow up on that one. So we're trying to avoid having lots of red overdue activities. We like the green activities that are due today or the gray that are scheduled in the future. Part of that weekly review is Andrew will go in and look at the really good deals that are looking really promising. He'll read through emails, he'll read notes, and then he will actually ask questions or provide feedback via the notes here. So you can mention somebody on the team, like Andrew in this case, and I can say, hey, I noticed the client asked for X, and you can say, I suggest you do this, or here's how we should handle that objection. So this is a great way for sales managers in particular to make sure the team is keeping the pipeline clean and to provide feedback and actually be a coach directly in the CRM. During that weekly review, we'll also lose any deals that are going stale or we don't think are going to proceed. So you can just click and drag and move down to the won or lost buttons down here. So if the prospect is no longer following up, we generally send like a final follow-up and then we lose the deal. Often we find people are apprehensive about losing deals. It feels like you failed, but I actually think it's an important thing to do, number one, so that you prioritize the good opportunities that deserve your attention. And then number two, it keeps the pipeline clean so you're looking at a really healthy sales pipeline. Of course, we want to be winning deals. So when we get paid, we mark our deals as won. And we even come into the products here and we use the installments feature to set up the pay installments for when customers are due to pay us for a project. We also, on more like a 2-weekly or monthly basis, review the contact timeline. So this is under contacts, contact timeline here. I have a whole separate video I did just about this feature, which we released a month or so ago. Check this out. It's a great way to make sure you're keeping up to date with your existing customers and nurturing relationships. So generally we come in here once every couple of weeks, once a month, and we make sure that we are touching base with customers on a regular basis. I love this screen because it gives you such a visual way of seeing when did we last make contact, when was the last email sent, or when was the last phone call made. And so we use this to just make sure we are keeping up to date and nurturing those ongoing relationships. Now, the more consistent you can be at keeping your CRM up to date, and if you can really build some of these habits, the better the CRM will be. The more up to date it will be, the better quality reporting that you'll have, the more context you will have to give to an AI, and the less friction you create because everything's up to date and you can actually spend more time selling and less time working out what did we talk about last time or what am I doing next, because the CRM is now working for you. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment down below. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to this channel to stay up to date when new Pipedrive training videos are released, and I'll see you in the next video.